Hi guys, welcome back. Now we are going to take a look at working with quotes. So far you should be able to gather the information that you need. You should know how to store rates in quote control. And let's take a look at some of the other features. First, let's talk about what happens if a customer writes a policy. This is going to have to do with your status a little bit too over here, because you always want to make sure that you change your quote status to whatever it should be. Pending quote indicates that you still have work left to be done on this quote, and if you have it in that status, it will show on your main screen and you'll be able to click on it from there and get back to the quote. Once you've quoted it, you'll change the status to quoted. That indicates that you've quoted this and that you may still be waiting on the customer to find out if they are going to accept it. You might put it in pending application. You might change it to written, or if there's nothing left to do on it and you know that the client is not going to accept the rate, you may change it to closed. This also goes along with exporting to Genesis. So after you've written a policy on the company website, you need to take it from being a quote in Genesis to being an actual policy. And you don't want to really have to go in and re-enter all this information. So we've given you an easy way to export it to the policy level. You'll click Export to Genesis. If you've already got an existing client with that name in here, you can highlight it and click Go to Client and add it from there, or you can hit Add New Client. If you do this, your next step on either way is to hit Import and do a quote control import. Now, because I hit Add New Client here, it added the client's profile information and it added the policy, as you can see. You'll need to make sure you change the status to active here so that you keep an accurate record. Now let's go back to the quote for just a second and talk about some of the other things that you can do to work with your quotes. You're going to be able to enter and view notes. The enter notes screen looks like this, and it's a very simple interface. We'll go over that in a different tutorial. You can come back in and view all the notes, and that interface looks like such. You're also going to be able to create suspenses, and if you recall from one of our previous tutorials, a suspense is a to-do item. So if you have one that's related to this quote, you can create a suspense here. You should already know how to use the grid. You've also got this print letter, which basically prints out a thank you to the client for allowing you to quote their business, and it tells them that if they would like to purchase coverage, to come in and do so. You can send a J-mail from here, and don't forget you can hit Control J to do that as well. You've got a memo here which allows you to write a letter to the client too, and we'll go over how to use the memo in a future tutorial. I've also got an intent letter which basically says that I have a pending application here waiting on the client. You can print those out and send them to your customers too. You can save images in here, such as your MVR or clue reports or any other documentation that you might need to save in relation to this quote. And you've got a handy worksheet that you can print out and send to the client, give to the client if they're in your office, that lets them know exactly what you rated, what rate you came back with, and all that information. You can create a new quote with this button, you can delete this quote with this button, and you can view any activity that is related to phone tree or system letters by clicking on the activity button. That in a nutshell breaks down working with quotes. If you guys need any help or have any questions, please feel free to contact us and let us know.